This deportation, mass deportation, wanting to send everybody home packing. I get it. I get it. It's too many of them here. It's 15.5 million illegal immigrants in the United States of America. Under President Obama, President Obama deported the most of any president. He deported 3.5 million people. Under President Obama, he also had discretion. He wasn't just grabbing anybody and deporting them. He was seriously deporting the worst of the worst. He would deport people who had murdered somebody in the United States of America. He would deport people who were a menace to society in the United States of America. People who were here, who had brought their spouses over for a spousal visa and then had been abusing them, beating on them. He would deport different types of people who definitely looked like they needed to be deported. But he had something also in place that anybody who had been in the country for a while and had not gotten in any trouble and was gainfully employed or wanted to be gainfully employed, they could come out of the shadows. And then he would provide a way to citizenship for them, right? Go to the back of the green card line, work, pay your taxes, be a good citizen like you've always been, be with your family. I won't deport you. Under the Obama administration, things were pretty different. Under this Trump administration, things are super strange. There's a 10-year-old U.S. citizen who is recovering from brain cancer who just got deported to Mexico. Remember when we saw during the elections the big old Mexican flag and people marching around, Mexicans for Trump? I could not believe it, because Mexico has the biggest number of individuals who need to be deported from the United States of America. So talk about standing up for your people. There are Mexicans living in the United States of America who don't want other Mexicans here. Apparently, just like you have all the others for Trump, right? A Texas family on their way to an emergency medical checkup for their 10-year-old daughter who is recovering from brain cancer was detained by immigration authorities, and they were quickly deported to Mexico last month. I guess they said, hey, deport them quickly before it gets to the news media, because once it gets to the news media, you know people are going to start protesting. How could you be so cruel? She needs help. Why are you deporting a 10-year-old brain cancer patient? Oh my God, this is cruel. I mean, I want illegals out of the country, but make an exception. Use some discretion. Well, they were deported so fast, nobody knew about it until after they got deported. So in early February, Customs and Border Protection stopped the family at an immigration checkpoint while they were traveling from Rio Grande, Texas, where they lived, over to Houston, Texas, where their daughter's specialists are located. This is a trip that the family had made at least 5 times, other times before this time, without any incident. This is according to the family's attorney, right? Now, during their previous trips, the undocumented parents of the 10-year-old American citizen were allowed through the checkpoint after presenting authorities with letters from their lawyers and their daughter's doctors. It worked before. This time, however, didn't work. Authorities said those letters were insufficient, and they arrested the parents for not providing proper documentation. Of course, the family's attorney said that the parents have no criminal history. In addition to the 10-year-old girl, 4 other children, all but one of them were born in the USA. They were in the car with the parents when they were all detained. The parents were then forced to make a difficult decision: return to Mexico as a family or leave their children behind in the U.S. in state custody. That's hardly a choice. So, undocumented parents of U.S. born children, if they're picked up by immigration authorities, face the risk of losing custody of their children. Without a power of attorney document or a guardianship outlining who will take care of these children when you are deported, the children go into the U.S. foster care system, making it harder for the parents to regain custody of their children in the future. Some people are calling this kidnapping even. The family ultimately decided, listen, we're going to remain together. So just go ahead and do what you have to do and send all of us back if that's the case. So the 10-year-old girl who was diagnosed with brain cancer last year and recently underwent surgery to remove the tumor, doctors in Houston have been closely monitoring her recovery. This was the appointment she was going for. Now, after the family was detained, the mother spoke to NBC News and said that authorities took the family to a detention center where they separated her and her daughters from her husband and the sons. Males over here, females go that way. Within hours, CBP agents, which is the Border Patrol agents, loaded the family into a van and drove them straight to Mexico and dropped them off. Damn. Within hours, loaded them in a van and drove them straight to Mexico and dropped them off. There was no court hearing. There was no, Your Honor, we are in a desperate situation. Our daughter has brain cancer. She needs the treatment. We're not going to be able to have this type of treatment, life-saving treatment in Mexico if we're sent back there. Please at least let us see her cancer into remission. Then you can do whatever. Nope. Within hours, loaded them into a van and drove them to the border, dropped them off. Now, after spending time in a shelter, the family has moved into a house. However, according to the mother, her children are unable to sleep due to concerns about their safety, having been left in an area of Mexico where U.S. citizens are often kidnapped. The 10-year-old isn't the only member of the family who is being treated for a medical condition either. The couple has a 15-year-old son who has a heart disorder known as long QT syndrome, which causes irregular heartbeats and can be life-threatening if it's not properly treated. The mother told News Media House both those children are unable to receive the health care they need in Mexico. So for her, this is more about saving her children's lives than anything else. So in a post on X that used to be Twitter, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus called the family's deportation a new low and said that the Trump administration had lost all humanity. Before Donald Trump took office, immigrant advocacy groups raised the alarm over how his mass deportation policies could affect mixed status families. Mixed status families goes without saying, families in which some members are undocumented while others are U.S. citizens. According to estimates from the American Immigration Council, as many as 4 million mixed status families are at risk of being separated under Trump's policy. But remember, when Trump border czar Tom Homan was asked in December how he would approach deporting mixed status families, this was an interview that was publicized by the Washington Post and other major media houses, the risk of separation was ultimately the fault of the parents, he said. Here's the issue, he said, quote unquote, you knew you were in the country illegally and you chose to have a child. So you have put your family in that position. Hey, we can deport the whole family together. And then when the child who was born in the United States of America, who is a natural citizen, is old enough, they can come back on their own. That was the answer to that. Again, I shed no tears. I have no dog in this fight. I bring you the news just as it unfolds in this situation. I put no fluff to the story, family. I just tell you like it is. What are your thoughts on this? Should this be a case where some exception is made for the sake of these children and their medical situation? Or are you hardlined? Are you the kind of person who's saying, I don't care, send them back? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Keep it clean. Let's have a talk. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.